Welcome, 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 welcome. This is Gospel Piano Boot Camp week number 1. And I want to thank you for joining me and for making the decision and being a part of this camp. I really do believe you're going to be glad that you chose to be a part of this. And I really believe you're a special person because it's the people that they take action for what they want and for what they want to achieve. Those are the people that really achieve it. So I want to thank you and congratulate you for whatever that is in you that is determined to be a better musician. And I really believe by the end of this camp, you're going to be a better musician. And so I just want to welcome you. I also want to let you know that we're going to be doing several things during the course of this camp. And I want you to have access to me. I want you to be able to contact me. So I'm actually going to give you my my personal email address. I'm going to actually send that out in an email as well. But I'm going to give you my personal email address right now for those of you all that may want to write it down. And if you have questions, you can contact me later. And my personal email address is kennyhollins@yahoo.com. kennyhollins@yahoo.com. Now that's spelled KENNYHOLLINS @yahoo.com. Again, it's KENNYHOLLINS @yahoo.com. And if you have questions, even after the live is over with, you can email me, and I will definitely try to get back with you as soon as possible. Now, you also can ask questions during the actual live itself. Now, you will notice on your screen toward the bottom of the screen, you will notice that you have a comment box. And so what you'll do is you just simply type in your comment, and you'll hit the button. And then on my end, I should be able to see your question or your comment, and I will be able to answer that. Okay, from time to time, I just simply have to refresh the screen, and then as I refresh the screen, I'll be able to see your comment or your question, and I'll definitely try to answer that. Okay, so I want you to feel free to ask questions if you have questions. Okay, now I would just like to know who's on live right now. If you would just type your name and the city and state that you're from. I would love to kind of see who's on here. If you would just type your name and your city and state, that would be great. I would love to see who's on with me this evening. If you would type your name and your city and state, I want to see who's with me this evening. And normally what I do is, you know, we're scheduled to do this live for about an hour, but usually I go over that amount of time. I want to make sure that you get that time and much more. And for whatever reason, if you can't stay the whole entire time that we're doing it, don't worry about it. You'll be able to go back and watch the whole thing. So for whatever reason, if you have to leave or if you can't finish it, you can come back at a later time and you'll be able to see the replay. So I'm going to keep the replay up, and you'll be able to see that at any time. Okay? All right. I just want to make sure that I'm seeing who's on here with me. And then we're going to jump into the content that we have for today. I'm really excited about it. Super excited about it, as a matter of fact. Okay, we have Alton from Dallas. Welcome. Alton, you've been with me for a while. I remember you from Dallas, Texas. We have Damien from Orlando, Florida. Now, I know we have several more people on here. Maybe y'all are being a little shy. Don't be shy. I want this to be a very informal session where you can talk to me and I talk back to you. And I feel like we're going to benefit the most when we're interactive. Okay? And that's what I want this to be. I want this to be an interactive time where you can ask questions and I answer those questions for you. Okay? All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started now. I was trying to wait a few minutes for everybody to log on. But we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay? All right. Now, what I would like to do is to pray. Faith is a very big part of me, my life and my music, just as a person. So I want to pray before we begin this session. All right. Father God, in the name of Jesus, I thank you for this time and for this opportunity to share, Father, the music in which you've given me. And I just pray, God, that everyone's heart and mind is open and receptive. And Father, I thank you, God, for blessing this time and causing it to be effective and productive, and that everyone that's watching, everyone that's seeing this and hearing this will benefit, will develop and grow, and will become a much better musician. And Father, I thank you for it now. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay. All right. We're going to jump in. Now, I'm going to share this with you, and we're going to get into what we're going to play. Now, tonight, I'm going to actually teach you a particular song. One thing that I really believe helps a musician to grow is to learn new things. It's very important to always be learning something new or learning something fresh. It's almost like music is a language, and whenever you have a language, you have to have a vocabulary in order to communicate or speak that language. And so the more words that we have, the bigger our vocabulary is, the more effectively we can communicate. And likewise with music, the more chords that you know, the more progressions that you know, the more licks or improvisation movements that you know, the more effectively you can communicate musically. So I think it's very important that you continue to learn new material and learn fresh material. Okay? So that's going to be the foundation of our camp. Is each session I'm going to teach you something new, and it's for the purpose of not just learning the song that I'm teaching you, but also to learn the techniques that's in that song, the concepts that are in that song, so that way you can take those same techniques, you can take those same concepts, and you can apply them to whatever you want. Okay? So you're going to learn brand new songs, but not only are you going to learn brand new songs, you're going to learn the techniques and the concepts that I use to create those songs. Okay? And so that's going to be the foundation of what we're doing. All right? Now, I'm going to use the song For God So Loved the World, okay? I'm going to use that song, and I'm going to demonstrate it, and then I'm going to go back and explain to you not only the notes that I'm playing, but the concepts behind what it is that I'm doing, okay? Now, I also want you to notice that on the screen below the video, I placed two links there, and it's actually really two URLs. And what it is an arrangement of the song Great Is Thy Faithfulness. Great Is Thy Faithfulness. And it's an arrangement that I did, but it's a contemporary type of arrangement where I really have some contemporary sounding chords and progressions, some real non-standard type movements. And we're going to be covering things like that in this camp. And so for those of you all that you're up for the challenge, you know, it's not that difficult, but it may be a little stretch for some, but I believe a good stretch. So I want you to, when this particular session is over, I want you to copy and paste those URLs and put them in your browser and download the video as well as the PDF file of it, where it's a booklet that I put together and it's explaining a lot of the techniques that I use to play that particular song. Okay? And that's Greatest Thy Faithfulness. So I want you to tackle that this week along with what I'm going to teach you tonight. Okay? All right, now let's get to the song that we're doing tonight. Okay? And I just want to make sure you all can hear fine. All right, let me demonstrate it for you, and then we're going to break it down and talk about it. All right? All right, here we go. It's just music only. It's you, it's a drummer, it's you, possibly a bass player. Then you want to make sure that that melody is easily heard, it's on the top, people can recognize the song, okay? But say, for example, somebody's singing it, then in a situation like that, you possibly would not want to put the melody on the top because you wouldn't want to get in the way of the singer. Okay, so that's something to consider. So if I was playing this song with somebody singing it, I possibly would approach it a different way with different voicings, possibly something like this. Okay, where I did not play like that. Okay, that's a simple thing, but it really does make a difference, because if you're playing with a singer, you don't want to get in the way of the singer singing the melody. But then at the same time, if you're playing just instrumentally, meaning nothing but music, you want people to know what it is that you're playing, okay? So that's something that I do quite often. When I'm voicing my chords, you'll notice that I will have the melody note as the top note, okay? That's something that I do quite often, okay? So that's one thing that I do off top when I'm trying to develop my chords or come up with the voicing that I want. I make sure that the melody note is my top note, which starting off is an E, okay? Now let me give you the exact voicing that I'm using, okay? With my left hand, I'm playing the note G. With my right hand, I'm playing the note F and G. But I'm playing the F and G with my thumb, okay? And then A, C natural, and E, okay? So I'm doing all of this with my right hand, and then I'm including this G with my left hand, okay? All right, so we're moving like this. 4, and then we go to the next chord. All right, which is left hand G, left hand is G and F, and then the right hand is A flat, B, D, and F, okay? So again, left hand is G and F, right hand is A flat, B, D, and F, okay? So those are the first two chords, and then we go here. All right, this is the third chord. All right, this is a C6-9 chord. Let me break it down for you. I'm playing C, G, and E with my left hand. It's a pretty wide stretch, and that's something that I do quite often with my left hand. Now, you know, I guess one of the main chords that we play is a major chord. We play major chords. It's probably a major chord in almost every song that we play. And so one thing that I do pretty commonly on the piano is I play this position in terms of a major chord, where I play the root, the 5th, and the 10th. okay? Root 5, 10, okay? That gives me a nice open, round sound to my major chord, okay? When I want to add a little color to that chord, I will add the numbers 6 and 2 to that foundation that I'm playing with my left hand, okay? And it gives it a nice colorful but warm sound, and that's when I'm going for a major chord, okay? And the specific voicing that I used was this. And then the right hand is A, D, and G like that. Okay? All right. So now, one thing that you can do is to put this in every key. Put this in every key. Now, what you can do is take that chord and then begin to move it up in half steps. Up another half step. Up another half step. Up another half step. I'm gonna keep moving. Back to where we started from, okay? And that's just a good way to practice on that particular voicing whenever you have a major chord, okay? And say, for example, you want to use this voicing with another song that you may know. Say, for example, and then we go to, all right, that's the voicing, okay? All right, let's try another one. I just want you to see how you can use it in context, all right? All right, that's the chord right there, okay? That's that major 6-9 chord, all right? And again, it's the root, whatever chord, major chord you're trying to play, it's the root, 5, 10. That's what I'm doing with my left hand, and then with the right hand, I'm playing 6, 2, and you can also throw in the 5 on the top, like that, okay? And it will be good to practice that in every key, so whenever you want to get that sound with a particular major chord that you're playing, you can do it, okay? All right, now let me give you a few basic ways that you can practice on this. I'm going to show you what you can do with your left hand. This is one thing you can do with your left hand. You can approach it in half steps, okay? Root 5, 10, go up a half step, root 5, 10, go up a half step, then you keep moving like that. Root 5, 10, 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 root 5, 10. Okay? So you can keep moving just like that. All right? So it's just a matter of getting used to that feel or that position with your hands. And then when it comes to your right hand, you can practice with it. And then you keep going like that until you do all the keys. So that's an easy way that you can practice it to get comfortable with every key. Okay? Now let's get back to For God So Loved the World. So I did this here. All right, and then, all right. Okay, now, what I'm going to show you now is a little thing that I do when I want to create a passing chord. And the way I view passing chords, I view passing chords as a chord that you can use or that you can play that will fill up a little space before you get to another main chord. Okay, so it's almost like a little chord, and I'm calling it little because it's not really a main chord, it's a chord before a main chord. So it's almost like a bridge. It's a bridge between two important chords to the song, two chords that you really, really need, and then you play this, what I would call a passing chord, to connect those chords. Okay, it could be one chord or it could be several chords that you're using to connect those two main or important chords. All right, and I would call that a passing chord. So one thing I do to play or create passing chords is I play chords in fourths. Okay, I'll find a chord that's a fourth away from my main chord. Now let me give you an example of this. All right, here we go. 4, 4. All right. Now I just did it right there. Okay, now the main chord is actually this chord right here. This is actually a B dominant 7 sharp 9 flat 5 chord. Okay, now say for example I want to play a chord before I get to this one, just to fill it up or beef it up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just play okay. Now say for example I want to put a passing chord right in front of it. How do I know what to do? You know, what are my options? Okay, one option is to play a fourth below this note right here, because this is like my main note or my target note. And then, okay, so this is like an important chord in the song. So this is why I'm using this particular chord to move a fourth away from. All right. So now some of y'all, you may already understand what a fourth away from B is, which is actually G flat. Okay. Now, if you don't understand how I came up with G flat, let me show you a simple way that you can figure it out. Now, technically, B natural is the fourth tone of the G flat major scale. Okay? I don't want to confuse anybody. But if I were playing the G flat major scale, of course, it would sound like this. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The fourth tone of this scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, is B natural. So that means B is the fourth of G flat. Okay? So technically, that's what it is. All right. Now, say for example, that may be confusing to you, and you're not really quite wrapping your mind around that. One thing you can do to figure out what a fourth away from the particular bass note is that you're playing, count up to 5. Okay? Think about the scale of that particular note. So this note is B, so we're going to think about the B major scale. Okay? Which would be this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's the B major scale. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the 5th tone of this B major scale, which is this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See that? And we ended up on the same note, on the G flat or the F sharp. Okay? So B is the target chord, and so we want to find a fourth away from that. Just count up the 5th note of that scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you know it's F sharp. Okay? All right, so that's a way that you can do it. So what I did was this. Okay, I wanted to put a passing chord in there to fill it up, so I used this right here, an F minor 11 chord. But notice my bass note is F sharp, which is a fourth away from where I'm going. And where am I going? I'm going to that right there, okay? So you see how I came up with that? That is a way, that's one way that you can create passing chords. Move in fourths, okay? And you can do more than just 1/4. You can do a few of them, okay? Let me give you an example. Well, let me give you the notes before I give you the example, all right? Okay, now this is what I did. Okay, this is an F minor 11 chord where I'm playing F sharp, C sharp, and E, and then G sharp, A natural, B, and E natural. Okay, so again, that's F sharp, C sharp, E natural, G sharp, A, B, and E natural. Okay? And then we went here. All right, the B7 sharp 5 sharp 9 chord, where I'm playing B, E flat, A natural, D, and F. Okay? All right. Now, I told you you can actually do more than 1/4. Let's see if we can take it a little further. So let's say we're playing this. All right, say for example, I want to do more than that. I can take this note now and play a fourth below this one. Okay? Now, I know that that would be the note C sharp. But say for example, I didn't know that, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, so what's a fourth below F sharp? Okay, so let's just use the little trick I just showed you. We're going to count up to number 5 from F sharp here. So let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I took the F sharp scale, major scale, the F sharp major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I counted up to the 5th tone of the F sharp major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which is technically a fourth below the F sharp, okay? And so I know that that note can be used as well in terms of creating fourths leading to my main chord of this B7 sharp 9 sharp 5. So what that means is before I play this chord, I can also play some type of C sharp chord. So let's see what we can come up with and if we can make it work in context. Okay, let's try that. Okay, dissonant chord. But let's see what it sounds like in context. So I'm gonna put this in front of that and then go to my main chord right there. Okay, let's see what it sounds like. Okay. Okay, you can make it work. And you could even go even further than that if you wanted to, okay? And I'm just showing you these principles so that way you can create your own arrangement, all right? So what would be a fourth below C sharp? Let me see if you can figure it out, okay? So what would be a fourth below this C sharp? Say we want to do one more chord, creating a series of passing chords. So what would be a fourth below this? Let me see if you can figure it out real quick. Now remember, you can count up to the 5th tone of this scale, which would be the C sharp major scale. So what note would that be? Or if you're looking at it the theoretical way, what scale would C sharp actually be the 4th tone in? Okay, what is it? It's actually A flat. It would be A flat, okay? All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or thinking about A flat, the A flat major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4 is the 4th tone of the A flat major scale, okay? So it would be A flat. Now, what kind of chord can I play that's going to take me from the A flat to the C sharp to the F sharp to the B? Okay, what can I play? So it goes without saying that it really helps to have a nice arsenal of chords already, okay? And that goes back to learning fresh things, learning new chords, new progressions. And the more that you have to work with, the more creative and flexible you can be, okay? All right, so let's try this chord here, okay? Notice my A flat is my bass note, and so I'm gonna go from here. All right, so coming from the A flat to the C sharp to the F sharp, then then to the main chord. Now I hope you notice that the chords that I'm picking have the same top note or the same melody note. Okay, so that makes actually those passing chords kind of connect a little bit better, makes it sound a little bit more smooth. Okay, so let's put it in context. I'm going to play all 3 chords. Now in the actual real setting, I may not do that many, but I'm just showing you for the sake of you understanding the principle and how you can really create your own arrangement with just something as simple as using fourths. Okay, all right, let's do it again. Here we go. Okay, y'all see that? All right, now this time let's keep going. Well, better yet, let me give you the chord that I played. Okay, on the A flat, here we go. A flat, left hand, right hand is G flat, B natural, C natural, and E. And then we went here, C sharp, G sharp, F, B, and E. And then F sharp minor 11, F sharp, C sharp, E, G sharp, A, B, and E. Okay? Okay? Now what I originally did was just the F sharp minor 11 chord. Okay, but you can throw those fourths in there if you want to. Alright? Okay. B, E flat, left hand, right hand is A, D, and F. Okay, this is simply an E dominant 7 chord. E natural and D with the left hand. Right hand is A flat and D natural. And then I actually jumped up an octave here. Okay? Left hand is A, E, and G. And then the right hand is C, E, and C. Okay? And then I did a little movement like this. Okay? Now I call this sidestepping. Now, the way I play chords sidestepping, what I do is I look for my target chord, okay, which is this chord right here, okay, and I think about that quite a bit. Target chords or chords that you're aiming for, okay. It's almost like you know where you want to end up, but it's several different ways to get there, okay. So then I call those target chords. It's almost like you're giving somebody directions to your house, and you may know several different ways to get to your house. You can take this street, or you can take that street, or you can go this way or that way, but the whole point is getting to my house, okay. And that's somewhat how you can think about target chords, okay. As long as I get to this main chord, it's several different ways I could get to it, okay? And that's the creativity of playing, and in particular with gospel music. You know, as long as you're getting to where you need to get to the main chord, it's so many different creative ways that you can get to it, okay? And that's one thing that if you think like that, it'll really stretch you, because it'll cause you to think, okay, now what else can I do to get to this main chord? Okay, now right here what I'm doing is I'm using sidestepping, moving up in half steps. All right, now let me give you the main chord, which is this. Okay, now this is actually a rootless voicing, and I call it a rootless voicing because simply I'm leaving the root out, which is D natural. Okay, so this is technically a D dominant 7 chord with an added ninth. All right, now when I leave the root out, I only have these notes, which are F sharp and C with my left hand, and then my right hand is E and A natural. Okay, now what I'm doing is playing in half steps leading up to that chord, like that. Okay, so this is the target chord, and what I did was I took every single note. Okay, that was every single note moved down a half step. So the F sharp moves down to F, the C moves down to B, the E moves down to E flat, the A moves down to A flat. So everything moved down in exactly one half step. And then I did it again. The F moves down to E, the B moves down to B flat, the E flat moves down to D, and the A flat moves down to G. Okay, and then I started there, went up a half step, and then finally made it to my target chord. And I just did it real quick. Okay, all right, that's a nice little musical thing. Now I actually could have done the opposite of that, where now instead of sidestepping moving up, I can sidestep moving down like that. So I just did the opposite. I'm just now moving down half steps to get to that target chord. So now I'm starting at A flat, D, F sharp, and B natural. Okay, starting there, that's down another half step, and then back to where we started. Okay, and that's a real simple thing, but it can be very effective when you put it in the right places. That sidestepping, and you really can do that with any chord that you want. I'll give you an example of how I like to use it. It's actually a song by Kurt Carr called "For Every Mountain," and it's like this. Right there. Okay. All right, y'all see what I did? I did sidestepping right there. Okay. So in the actual chord, in the actual song, the song calls for this chord right here. But I sidestepped it. Okay. Where I just did it with my right hand, where I took the G, the C, and the E flat. Okay. And just simply brought everything down a half step and then played it like that. Okay? Okay? Now I just did it with one half step. Now I actually could do it with two. Okay, let's see what it sounds like with two half steps, side stepping. You all see that? So you can take anything you already know. You don't have to learn anything new to use sidestepping. It's just a simple concept. Now you have to practice on it to get your hands comfortable enough to do it, you know, while you're actually playing the song. But you can take any song you know and you can sidestep. You can sidestep 1/2 step below, 1/2 step above, 2 half steps below or above, 3 half, 4, 5, however many you want to do. It's completely up to you. And sidestepping is very effective when you use it the right way. Okay, I could have used it even with the arrangement that we're using tonight. Watch this. Okay, you could have done that. You could have done that. Let me give you another creative way that you can use it. Okay, I actually took the C and the G off with my left hand, so it wouldn't be too muddy. And this is what's left, and I went up 1/2 step, and then went below this 1/2 step, and then came back up to that. So it's like this. See that? Okay, so it could have been something like this. All right, see that? And all of that is sidestepping, okay? You're using 1/2 steps to take you to that main target chord that you're aiming for. So you can be real creative with that. All right, let's keep going. All right, and let me give you this. All right, this is G minor 11 chord. And I'm simply playing G, D, and F. And then with my right hand, I'm playing A, B flat, C, D, and F. Okay, so like a cluster chord sound. All right, then we go here, C dominant 7, which is simply C, G, and E. C, G, E left hand, right hand is B flat, C, and E. Okay? And so, these are just some real basic concepts, but when you use them in the right way, you can get some really great results. Now I'm going to stop for a second and see if there are any questions so far. I want to see if anybody has any questions so far. And I also want to remind you again that all of this content, everything that we're talking about, this evening is going to remain on the site, and you will be able to go back and see it at any time. So you won't miss a thing. You won't miss a thing. Okay. I think I had a few more people to come in. I didn't see this earlier, but we have Carolyn on the line from Florida. We have Cheryl, and it looks like Cheryl is having some technical issues. We'll try to do what we can to help Cheryl with that. And then we have Siobhan from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Welcome, Siobhan. Great, great. Listen, if you're on the line, if you're watching live, go ahead and put your name and where you're watching. I'd love to recognize you. And remember now, if you have a question, feel free to ask, and I'll definitely do my best to answer your question. Okay? All right, we're going to keep moving. All right, now we're at the point now where in the song, okay, now we're here. Okay, nice F major 7 chord with a 9 in there. I'm simply playing F and C, G and A. Okay, now I'm playing F and C with my left hand, G and A with the right, C, E, and A. So G and A with my thumb, and then C, E, and A. And all of this is with the right hand, with F and C with the left hand. All right, and then we go here to the E minor 7, simply playing E and D with the left hand, and the right hand is G, B, D, and G natural. Okay, and then we go here to the A dominant 7 sharp 9 sharp 5 chord. And then I did something like this here. Okay, let me do that again. And notice how that melody note is still my top note. Okay? B flat, D, A flat with the left hand, and then the right hand is C and E. And then we move down a whole step. And then to this, okay? Now this chord here is A flat, G flat, B flat, C, and D. And then we go here to the G suspended chord, G and F with the left hand, A, C, and D. All right. Now let me give you a little trick. I don't want to call it a trick, but a little thing that I do when I'm trying to be more creative with dominant 7 chords. Let me give you a little thing that I do here. One thing that I do is I use major chord triads on top of a dominant 7 position with my left hand. Now let me explain to you what I mean. Okay? Now in the course of this song, okay, now this is a dominant 7 chord with a sharp 11 in it, okay? Now I like that particular chord because it has the melody note in it, okay? But say for example, you were playing some type of dominant 7 chord and you didn't want to play that particular chord, you wanted to change it up a little bit. You wanted to flip it, or you wanted to get a different sound or a different effect. One thing that I use is I use triads over dominant 7 chords. Let me show you how to do that. Now, the movement or the structure that you want to have with your left hand is this: root, third, and flat 7, like that, okay? And it's basically just a dominant 7 chord, leaving out the 5th, okay? Now, if you don't quite understand that, basically all I'm doing is I'm playing the root note of the chord, and then I'm playing the third and the flat 7, okay? So let's count up 1, 2, 3, which is E natural, and then the flat 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is B flat, okay? So we have the root, the third, and the flat 7. Okay? And we're going to use that as our foundation for what we're going to do with the right hand. All right? So I would encourage you to practice this in every key. Okay? What is it? Root, 3rd, flat 7 in every key. That's in D. This is an E flat. This is an E, F, F sharp, G, A flat, A, B flat, B natural, and then back to C. Okay? And that's a good thing to get comfortable with your left hand. Now, if you want to, you also can do them as rootless voicing, meaning you leave the bass note off. That's what a rootless voicing is. You leave the root out or the bass note out, okay? So now I'm just left with the 3rd and the flat 7 of that particular bass note. And I can move those up in half steps. So this would be the tritone, okay? A tritone is a diminished 5th or an augmented 4th, okay? But the tritone is the 3rd and the flat 7 of this of your root note, okay? And in this particular instance, the tritone would be the E and the B flat, okay? All right, and so what we're going to do is move this up in half steps to get comfortable with it, okay? That's the tritone that goes to C, the tritone that goes to D flat, the tritone that goes to D. This is the one that goes to E flat, E, F, F sharp, G, A flat, A, B flat, B natural, and then back to the C. Y'all see that? Okay? And so that's a good thing to practice on and to really get comfortable with your left hand. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do now is take that I just did with my left hand, and I'm going to put triads on top of it with my right hand. Okay? Now, let me show you how to do that. Now, we're going to go back to C, and the C major scale of this is this, of course. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? I'm going to take the 2nd tone, the flat 5, which would be G flat. We also could call it F sharp. The sharp 5, which would be G sharp, or we call it A flat, and then the 6. Okay, so again, that's the 2, the flat 5, the sharp 5, and the 6. Now, what am I going to do with the 2, the flat 5, sharp 5, and the 6? I'm going to play major triads on those particular notes. Okay, so in the key of C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 2 is D, so I'm going to play a major triad on the D. All right. Now, when I put that with what I'm playing with my left hand, it sounds like this. Okay. Now, let's go to the flat 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's play the flat 5, which would be here. We're going to play a major triad on top of that, which is this. And we're going to put it on top of this, which sounds like, okay? All right, now let's try the sharp 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to sharp it, okay? Which is G sharp, or we could call it A flat. And the major triad would be this. And we're going to play this with the left hand. It sounds like this. All right, let's try another one. We're going to do the 6th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, which would be this. And we're going to put it with the left hand, which sounds like that. Okay, so you see what I just did? I took the 2, the flat 5, the sharp 5, and the 6, and I played those major triads. That's the 2 major triad. That's the flat 5 major triad. That's the sharp 5 major triad. and that's the 6th major triad. All over this position with my left hand, the 1, 3, and flat 7. And so I can play this chord, that's the 2. I can play this chord, that's the flat 5. I can play this chord, this is the sharp 5. I can play this chord, that's the 6. So you see I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different options of what I can do on top of this dominant position here with my left hand, okay? And so let's see if we can put this in context so you can see all of the different options that we have, okay? Say, for example, we were playing something and we needed to end on this particular chord, getting ready to go somewhere else. So for example, and then we'll go back to, okay, say for example it was something like that, a groove oriented type movement, all right? And we want to do something over this C here, okay, this C dominant. And we want to do something more than just that type sound. We want a more contemporary sound, just something that's different. Let's try this major triad over the dominant position. Let's see the different things we can come up with in context. Let's see what those different chords would sound like in context, okay? So that's what we're going to do it right there. So the first one I'm going to try is the 2 major triad over this. All right, let's see what it sounds like. We might like it, we may not. We're experimenting. Okay, here we go. Okay. Is an option. Okay, you might like that or you may not. All right, let's go to the flat 5 major triad, which would be this. Okay, all right, so let's see what it sounds like. Here we go. Okay, and then you can go back to what we were playing. All right, now let's try the sharp 5 major triad in context. Okay, all right, that's the sharp 5. Now let's try the 6, which would be this right here, the A. All right, let's see what that sounds like. Okay, now I think the 2 that I would consider using would be the flat 5 or the sharp 5. I probably wouldn't do the 2 or the 6. Okay, now, but just in this particular example, I wouldn't. But in a different song, in a different context, the 2 or the 6 may be perfect. So you just have different options to choose from. Okay, so I would probably try the flat 5 or the sharp 5. Okay, now even with these particular selections, the flat 5 and the sharp 5, you also can invert these chords. Okay, this is a major chord in root position. We can invert it. Same 3 notes, we're just changing the position. Okay, or here we can invert it. Same 3 notes, just changing the position. Okay, so let's try this inversion for the sharp 5 triad, and we're going to try this inversion for the flat 5 triad, and let's see what that sounds like. Okay. That was the sharp 5. Let's do the flat 5 now. Okay, you see how you can use that? You can use that. And so that's something that you can use when you have a dominant 7 chord that you want to change and try something differently. Okay, and experimenting with the 2, the flat 5, the sharp 5, and the 6. And then once you figure out what those major triads are, then you can experiment even with the inversion. So one good thing to get under your belt and to really get comfortable and learn how to do very well is to, of course, play all of your major chords. That's foundational. You have to be able to do that. These are just major chords, and I'm just moving up and down half steps. And then you need to get to the place where you can play all of your major chords and play all of the inversions. Okay? It's a C major in root position, C major in first inversion, C major in second inversion, back to C major in root position. You should be able to play, or you want to strive to, if you're not already comfortable with it, strive to play all of your major chords in those 3 positions: root position, first inversion, second inversion. And then you want to be able to do it in every key: root position, first inversion, second inversion, root, first, second. All right, and so that way, when I want to try different inversions with those particular dominant 7 chords, it's a lot easier for me because I've already practiced it. Okay, so that's a very foundational thing that you definitely want to work on. Okay, all right, now let's get back to the song. So I'm using For God So Loved the World to show you all these different principles. Okay, but at the end of this, I also want you to learn the song too. Okay, I don't want just to teach you. I don't want to just teach you the song. I want to teach you the song and the principles that are behind the song. Okay? All right, let's keep going. Okay? Okay, now we're going to go back similar to how we started. Similar to how we started. All right, that's just like how the beginning is. Now this is where it changes. All right. I'm playing E with the left hand, B with the right. Now I'm going to move like this. It's a little fun thing I like to do there. Okay? And I'm using half steps. Now, when I say half steps, I mean grace notes. And a grace note is like you scoop up to a particular note. Okay? Now what I'm doing is I'm playing a chord grace note, where I'm actually playing grace notes within the actual chord itself. Okay? Now this is what I'm going for. I'm going for the A, D, F sharp, and B. This is like my target chord. But I'm playing grace notes with 2 notes in this particular chord, on the A and on the F sharp. Okay? And so what I'm doing is I'm moving from the A flat to the A very quickly, like that. And then I'm moving from the F to the F sharp very quickly, like this. Like that. And I do that quite often. Okay? And so in this particular example, I did that, and then move like that. I move back down to A flat, D, F natural, B natural. So these two notes move back down. Okay, sometimes I would even do this. Like that. And we throw that D in there. All right, let's keep going. All right, this is simply A minor 7. All right, so now we have A and G, C, E, and C. All right, and then we go here. Okay, that's one of my favorite moves right there. Okay, and I'm going to show you how I came up with this. Okay, this is actually a diminished 7th chord. But I also threw in a whole step on top of that diminished 7th chord. Let me show you exactly what I mean. Okay, now this is F sharp diminished. Now F sharp diminished would simply be F sharp, A, C, and then D sharp. Okay, those are the notes. All right, now I have them spread out like this: F sharp, D sharp, and A. Okay, and that's another good thing to practice on with your left hand. Okay, my hands are very big, so some of the keys are a pretty big stretch for me. Now, for the keys that are a pretty big stretch, you can do this. You can play the first note, hit your sustain pedal, take your finger off, and then get the next two notes like that. It gives you the same sound. Now, if your hands are big enough, you can just do it all at the same time, okay? But that's one position that I play with my left hand, and while doing that, I will add in additional notes of the E flat, the F sharp diminished chord. Okay, so I'm gonna put the C in there. The 4 notes were F sharp, A, C, and D sharp. Okay, okay, I'm doubling the E flat, doubling the F sharp, and then I had the C on the top, which was the melody note. And then I went here. All right, now that B is making it pretty dissonant, but that's something that I like to do on diminished chords. Okay, now let me give you this little tip here on diminished chords. If you really want to get a really dissonant and a contemporary type sound, you can play an open type of diminished chord, and for your top note of the diminished chord, move that top note up 1 whole step. So say, for example, I was playing this as my diminished chord. F sharp, D sharp, A, C, D sharp, F sharp, A. I can take the A up a whole step, which is 2 keys. 1, 2. All right, and that gives me a real dissonant sounding chord. Okay, let me put this in context in a different song so that you can see how you really can use this. Okay, say for example you were playing something like Yes Lord. That's an old hymn in the key of C. Okay, now we're going to go to this F sharp diminished, and then say for example I really want to make it real dissonant sounding. Now I threw that whole step in there. You see that? I took that top note of the diminished and went up a whole step. 1, 2. Okay, so that's an easy little trick that you can do to really fatten up your diminished chords. Okay, and I can do it on any diminished chord I want. And even with this particular diminished chord with the F sharp, whatever the top note is, I can do the same concept. So say, for example, my top note was F sharp and not A. So now if F sharp is my top note, I simply go a whole step above the F sharp, which would be 1, 2, which would be the A flat. Now I have this. So it works. It works. Okay? All right. Say, for example, if E flat was my top note, I can go up a whole step from the E flat, which would be 1, 2, the F natural, and I have this. All right. So I can use that basically for almost any diminished chord I want, and it works. Okay? Now I'm gonna throw this in too. This is another way you can think about it. This is really, really dissonant, but it's real powerful when you use it the right way. What it is you take a diminished chord, and whatever the root of your diminished chord is, you go up to the sharp 5 of the root. Okay, so say, for example, if F sharp is my root, I'm going to go up to the sharp 5 of the root, which is going to be this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go up one more half step to make it sharp 5. So that's D. Okay, so now my chord is F sharp diminished, but I'm going to go up to the sharp 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go up a half step, which is D natural. And now what I'm going to do on the D natural is play a minor 7 chord. Okay, a minor chord with a flat 7 on it, like that. Okay, and what we're going to do is put both chords together like this, and that's going to give you a real dissonant sounding chord. And if you put it in the right place, it is very, very nice. Okay, it's very dissonant when you just listening to it by itself, but when you put it in the right place, it's very, very, very nice. Okay, so that's a little thing that you can do, and it's kind of similar to what I'm doing right here. I'm just actually, if you look at it this way, I'm taking the minor 7 chord and inverting it like that. Okay, all right, so let's keep going. All right, here we go. Okay. I just basically took this diminished chord and inverted it. Okay, same notes, just inverted. Okay, as you can tell, I like real dissonant sounding chords sometimes. And with the left hand, E flat, C, G flat, right hand is C, E flat, G flat, and B natural. So we have, bring the B natural down to A, and we go here to the E minor 11, E, D natural, G, A, B, D, G, then we go here to the sharp, A dominant 7, sharp 5, sharp 9. A natural left hand, right hand is G, C, C sharp, F. Okay. And then we go to D minor 7, which is simply D and F. Right hand is A, C, F, and A. And then we go here. This is A suspended. And the left hand is A, G, left hand, right hand is D, G, and B. So, all right, and we go here, D minor 7, D, F, and A with the left hand. Right hand is C, F, and C. So, we're on the G suspended here, and the notes are G, F, and A with the left hand. Right hand is C, F, A, and C. and then we end on the first chord, well, the third chord that we started with, which is the C major 6/9 chord, which is a nice little stretch, okay? C, G, E, left hand, right hand is A, D, G, and then C, okay? All right, and that's the arrangement, okay? So the arrangement, it's a fairly simple arrangement, but more importantly, it's the techniques and the concepts that I use to create the arrangement is what I really want you to see, okay? So I hope that's something that not only you can learn to play verbatim, but hopefully it's also something that you can take those little principles that I was teaching tonight, and you can start to apply them to other things as well, okay? Now, I'm gonna share this with you, then we're gonna conclude for this evening. I really believe one of the keys to growing musically is to learn new material, like I said at the beginning of our session. Learn new things, learn fresh things, okay? Learn from people that you admire the way that they play. You like the way that they sound, okay? Try to learn things from them, you know. You're going to be working with me for the next month, okay? Learn the things that I'm teaching. Learn my style. Learn my approach, okay? Not to say that you have to completely play the way that I play, but I want you to learn some of my approach to playing, the way I do certain things. I want you to learn those things. And what you want to do is continue to do that, continue to learn new things and fresh things. And you're going to notice that the new things that you're learning is going to become a part of your regular playing. It's almost like you're going to transform into a different musician because of all of this new material that you're incorporating into what it is that you do, okay? That's so key. That's so important. And with opportunities like this, you can learn verbatim what someone is doing and how they approach their music. So this is a wonderful opportunity. I want you to take advantage of these next few weeks that we're going to be working together. And I'm going to also send you over 20 MIDI files, okay? You're going to get them this week. I'm going to send you over 20 different songs of me playing some of the very popular songs that are out right now. And I want you to learn the chords. I want you to learn the progressions, the voicings. And it's going right back to what I said. You're learning new things. You're learning fresh things that you're going to start incorporating into your everyday playing, okay? At first, it's going to be a little uncomfortable. It's not going to feel like what you're used to doing. It's going to be different. But eventually, you're going to start to get more comfortable with it, and it's going to become a part of you. And you're going to become a different musician. Hopefully, an even better musician, okay? So that's going to conclude it for this evening. I'm going to leave room for questions. If anyone has a question before we conclude, I'm going to refresh my screen to make sure that I have not missed anybody's question. All right. Welcome, Leon Bailey from Kansas City, Missouri. Happy to have you on here. Okay. And Cheryl from St. Louis. I think I saw you a little earlier. And of course, we have Stephen from Indianapolis. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. And remember now, you all, you definitely can come back. And I know I covered a lot and was talking pretty fast with some things. You can go back and you can watch everything that we discussed, everything that we covered, and you can keep rewinding it, taking notes, whatever you need to do so that you can really master it and get it under your fingers, okay? So we're going to conclude for this evening. Again, I encourage you, there are 2 URLs below this video, and it's to an arrangement of the song, Great Is Thy Faithfulness, that I came up with, and it's a video as well as a PDF file, it's a booklet that I put together explaining some of the concepts and principles that I use to create that arrangement, okay? Now, I'm going to challenge you all, okay? Everybody's doing challenges today. I'm going to challenge you, okay? I challenge you to learn this arrangement that I just taught you tonight, For God So Loved the World, or Great Is Thy Faithfulness, okay? I challenge you to learn it and be able to play it, okay? And this is what I ask you to do. Learn it and play it and record yourself playing it and upload it on YouTube. Upload it on YouTube and send me the link to you playing it, okay? I challenge you to do that. I challenge everybody that's a part of the camp to do that, okay? Either For God So Loved the World, the way that I played it, or Great Is Thy Faithfulness on the video, the way that I played it. And record yourself playing it with your smartphone or whatever, your camera, whatever you have, and then upload it to YouTube, and then send me a link to you playing it. And you can send it to my email. My email address is kennyhollins@yahoo.com. I'm going to also email that to everybody. kennyhollins@yahoo.com. That's spelled KennyHollins@yahoo.com. And I would love to see you playing it. And I'm going to shout you out if you do it, okay? I'm going to shout you out. So that's going to conclude us for tonight. We went over just a little bit, but I definitely wanted to make sure that we're getting off to a good start. And so I'm also going to be sending you all a foundational video this week as well. And it's going to be just covering some foundational things that I believe every gospel musician should know. So I'm going to send you that video this week directly to your email address. And then we're going to pick up next week with new things. So what I want you to do, because I want this to be an interactive time, I want you to email me with questions. Also, I want you to email me with things you would love for me to discuss, things that you would love for me to demonstrate. And I will try to definitely work it into our sessions, okay? All right. Again, thank you so much for being a part of this boot camp. I want you to practice this week, work on these materials. You know, practice makes perfect. That's how it's going to become a part of your plan. And we're going to pick up the same time next week. I hope you have fun. Reach out to me with any questions that you have, and I'm going to try to get back to you as soon as possible, okay? All right. Thank you guys so much. And until next week, you be blessed.